Hey guys, what's up? It's Mr. Selby here. Welcome to another episode of Geometry with Mr. Selby. And so today we're going to be talking a little bit about midpoints. All right. I like midpoints personally, and I feel like I understand them pretty well, and hopefully you will as well. All right, let's get going on today's lesson. So hopefully you watched the lesson on graphing points on the coordinate plane. If you didn't, please go back and rewatch it. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, double check your folders, make sure everything's in there and that you're good to go, and look for something that's called like graphing points lesson. Hopefully you got the refresher lesson on that. If you didn't and you can't find anywhere, message me on Schoology, come to office hours, or send me an email, and I will help you figure it out. Today we're going to find the distance between 2 points, which will be in another lesson, and find the midpoint of a segment. All right, we're not going to go over distance or rational numbers. Instead, today we're going to do midpoints and segment bisectors. All right, so midpoint formula on a number line. All right, so AB is a line segment here. As you can see, A to B is a segment. All right, X1 and X2 are on the number line. So this would be like X1, this would be X2, and the midpoint of M of AB has coordinate X1 plus X2 divided by 2. All right, that sounds super duper confusing. Let me try and break this down for you a little bit more easily. Okay, so this is saying that this whole segment, all right, M is in the middle of it. So if this whole segment is 10, like 10 inches long, all right, this would be half of it, and this would be the other half, okay? A to M is one half, M to B is the other half. They're equal because M is the midpoint, and that means it's the point exactly in the middle of the segment, okay? So if the whole segment is 10, A to M would be half of that, which is 5, and then M to B would be the other half, which is 5. So if you add them together, it equals 10. M is the midpoint. So if this is 0 and this is 10, right? So if you start here at 0 and you go 10 miles to 10, all right, you want to figure out what the middle point of the 10 is. You do 0, which is the x1, plus 10, which is the x2. All right, 0 plus 10 is 10, divided by 2, and that tells you 5. 5 is the midpoint, 5 is midway through. All right, Marco places a couch so that its end is perpendicular and 2.5 feet away from the wall. The couch is 90 inches wide. How far is the midpoint of the couch back from the wall in feet? Let's figure it out. First, we must convert 90 inches to 7.5 feet. Okay? The coordinates of the endpoints of the couch are 2.5 and 10. All right? Okay, so just to let you know that if this couch is perpendicular to the wall, it makes like a 90-degree angle. So if the top of my screen is the wall, okay, the couch would be like this way, okay? So I'm guessing the TV would be like on this wall or something. And it's 2.5 feet away from the wall. So here's the wall. The couch is 2.5 feet down, and remember, and then it's 90 inches wide, which is 7.5 feet. So it goes from 2.5 right here to 10 feet right here, okay? All right. So let M be the midpoint. All right. So how many feet is the middle of the couch from the wall? All right. So you plug in your numbers. 2.5 is 1, plus 10 is the other. You're going to get 12.5. Divide that by 2, and you should get 6.25. All right. Midpoint of the couch back is 6.25 feet. All right. Or 6 feet 3 inches, or 75 inches, whatever you want to go with. All right. So this one, I want you guys to try and do on your own, all right? If you can figure this one out on your own, should be good. I'm going to stop speaking for about 5 seconds, 5 to 10 seconds. I want you guys to pause the video, try and solve this on your own. All right, the length of a drag racing strip is 1/4 mile long. How many feet from the finish line is the midpoint of the racing strip? This is kind of a tough question. All right. So for this, you kind of need to know how many feet are in a mile. All right. So if you don't know that, you're really going to struggle with that. All right. All right. So there are 5,280 feet in a mile. All right. So a quarter mile would be divide that by 4, and it'll be 1320. Okay, that's how many feet are in a quarter mile long drag racing strip. All right, but we're looking for the midpoint. Okay, so we're looking for half of that. So you do 1320 divided by 2, and you get 660. So B should be your answer. Boom. All right, tough question if you don't know how long a mile is in feet. I didn't know. I actually had to look it up. So hopefully you guys were able to figure it out. All right, midpoint formula in a coordinate plane. All right, so this is super important for you to know like the whole graphing situation. So hopefully you paid attention on the graphing lesson, and then you would be able to do this much more easily. Okay, if PQ has endpoints at P, X1, Y1. All right, so this is P, X1, Y1 are the points here. Okay, and Q, X2, Y2. The coordinate plane then has the midpoint M of PQ has coordinates x1 plus x2 over 2, y1 plus y2 over 2. All right, so this is super duper confusing. The only important part I want you to remember is this part, the midpoint formula. Oh yeah, x1 plus x2 over 2, y1 plus y2 over 2. All right, if you know that formula, you should be pretty good. All right, don't overthink it. Do me a favor, take a picture of that formula, write it down, get a temporary tattoo of it. You know, that is what you want. All right, that formula. All right, so find midpoint in a coordinate plane. Find the coordinates of M, the midpoint of GH. For G is 8, -6, and H is -14, 12. So the first thing you're probably going to want to do is draw this. Okay, I always draw it. And then you want to label your points x1, y1, x2, y2. All right, so let G be x1, y1. All right, and H be x2, y2. Why? Because of the two endpoints. All right, it's called segment GH. So G must be an endpoint, and H must be the other endpoint. All right, M is the midpoint, lets you know that. So we're solving for M. All right, G is x1, y1, H is x2, y2. So you label this. So 8 would be x1, -6 would be y1, -14 is x2, 12 is y2. All right, now we fill in the formula. So remember, it's x1 plus x2 over 2. So that would be 8 plus -14 over 2. y1 plus y2 over 2, which would be -6 plus 12 over 2. Boom. x1 plus x2 over 2, y1 plus y2 over 2. Remember that handy-dandy formula? I was like, memorize this, take a picture of it, write it down, paint it on your wall. Don't actually paint it on your wall. All right, here's the same thing right here, but now we plug in the numbers. All right, like I said, x1 is 8. So 8's in the x1 spot. x2 is -14. -14 is in the x2 spot. Boom. The y1 spot, -6. Boom, it's in the y1 spot. y2 spot is 12. 12 is in the y2 spot. All over 2. All right, so now you solve this. 8 plus -14 should give you -6 divided by 2 should be 3. -6 plus 12 should give you +6 divided by 2 should be 3. So it should come out to 3, 3. -3, 3. Yeah. All right. So hopefully you guys are able to kind of understand how that rolls with it. All right. And that is very confusing. We're going to do some more practice problems on it. But if you have questions on this, okay, please, please, please reach out. All right. We're only going to do more of this. So if you're confused with it now, you're going to be confused with it unless you get help. All right. All right. If you understood that, go ahead and try this problem. I'm going to stop talking for about 5 to 10 seconds. I want you guys to practice this one. All right. If you can figure it out, that's good. If not, don't worry about it. Okay. I'm going to explain how to do this. Okay. All right. So for this one, you need to set this up. Okay. Hopefully you got the correct answer. It is -5, -3. All right. So for this, I'm actually going to jump in here and make this. Okay. So we got -2, 3. All right. And we've got -8 and -9. I would say one of the biggest problems students have is copying down the problem correctly. All right. Then we got to use our formula. So that'd be x1 plus x2 divided by 2. All right. And then y1 plus y2 divided by 2. All right. Let's make sure we label our everything correctly here. Okay. So this is going to be x1. This is going to be y1. This will be x2. And this will be y2. All right, so now we sub it in. What's our x1? -2. All right, -2. What's our x2? That's going to be -8. All right, and divide that by 2. -8 plus -2 is going to be -10. Divided by 2 is going to be -5. All right. And we sub in our y's here. What's our y1? That's going to be 3. All right. And then what's our y2? That's going to be -9. Divided by 2 is -6. Divided by 2. -6 divided by 2 should be -3. All right. Let's double check on that. Booyah. All right. So that's how you do it right there. If you have questions on that, because I realized I went through that super fast. If you have questions on that, please let me know. All right. I really don't mind doing these problems. I actually love geometry. So I don't know if you guys know that from my welcome video. But yeah, so feel free to message me on Schoology and be like, yo, Mr. Selby, help me out. All right, next one. Find the coordinates of an endpoint. So before in the past, we were given endpoints here. All right, find the coordinates of the midpoint of x, y. We were trying to find the midpoint, and we were given the endpoints, x and y. Now we're trying to find an endpoint. So we're given one endpoint, and now we've got to find the midpoint. And we're given one midpoint, and now we have to find the other endpoint. All right. All right. All right. So the segment is DF, and F has coordinates -5, -3. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to label it. So D is going to be x1, y1, which we don't know. F is going to be x2, y2, which we do know. So -5 is going to be x2, -3 is going to be y2. All right. All right. E we already know is -6, 4. So we just put it in the equation and we just solve backwards. All right. Write two equations to find the coordinates. So look, -6 is kind of like our mx. Okay. That's a midpoint x. All right. So we just plug it in the formula. This is our my is 4. So we plug it into that formula. Okay. So midpoint formula, -6 plus equals, so our mx, our midpoint, equals x1 plus x2. We already know that x2 is -5, so we write, and we already know our midpoint is -6, so we type those in. -6 equals x1 plus -5 divided by 2. First thing you want to do is multiply by 2 on both sides. It's going to give you -12 equals x1 plus -5, which is the same thing as x1 minus 5. Add 5 to both sides. We're going to get -7 equals x1. All right, so we found one. It's -7. And we got to find the other point. All right, so we've got my, our midpoint right here, the y coordinate for it. Then we've got y1 plus y2 divided by 2. Remember, our y2 is -3, and our midpoint y value is 4. So we've got y1 plus -3 divided by 2 equals 4. So we're going to multiply by 2 on both sides to get rid of this 2, this -2, this divided by 2. All right, if we multiply by 2 on both sides, it'll get rid of it. So these cancel out, and that becomes 8, and it's going to become 8 equals y1 minus 3. We're going to add 3 to both sides to get rid of this -3. All right, and that's going to become 11 equals y1. So our coordinates are going to be negative 7, 11. All right. All right. Do me a favor, guys, and try and go through this problem on your own. All right. I'm going to give you guys about 5 to 10 seconds to try and solve this problem on your own. All right. Let's get started on it. Hopefully you were able to solve this. Correct answer was D, 17, negative 11. All right. So find the coordinates of R if N is the midpoint, okay? RS, okay? And S has coordinates negative 1, 5. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate how to do this really quick. All right. All right. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to write out our equation. Mx, which is the midpoint x, equals x1 plus x2 divided by 2. All right. In fact, I'm actually going to move that down a little bit, and I'm going to put our coordinates up here. So we've got 8, negative 3, and we've got negative 1, 5. All right. So let's go ahead and make this. There's going to be our mx. My right here. This will be our x1. And this will be our x2, or our y1. All right. Okay. So as you can see, we don't have an x2 on here. All right. So we're going to leave that in there. All right. But we're going to bring in our mx, which is 8. So 8 equals our x1, which is negative 1 for this, plus our x2, which we don't know. So we're just going to write in x2 at this point in time, divided by 2. All right, first things first, we want to get rid of the divided by 2. So we're going to multiply both sides by 2. All right, so 2 by 2. 2's on the right-hand side, cancel out. 8 times 2 becomes 16. So we got 16 equals negative 1 plus x2. All right, then what we want to do is add 1 to both sides to get rid of that negative 1. So we got 17 equals x2. All right, that's good so far. Now we want to figure out our my, or we want to figure out our y2. Okay, so my equals y1 plus y2 divided by 2. All right. Oh, I guess we can't. 1 second, guys. Okay, much better now. All right. So let's go ahead and sub this in. Our my is going to be negative 3. Our y1 is going to be 5. Our y2 we don't know. We're going to leave that in there. And then divide that by 2. All right, so the first thing we do is multiply by 2 on both sides to get rid of that divided by 2. All right, so that's going to be negative 6 equals 5 plus y2. All right, then subtract 5 on both sides. All right. Move this up a little bit. Negative 6 minus 5 is going to be negative 11. All right, 5 minus 5 is nothing. So you're going to be left with y2 is a negative 11. So we've got 17, negative 11. Let's make sure that was the correct answer. Oh, yeah. All right. Cool, cool, cool. We're back in it. All right. A little bit more algebra here. What is the measure of PR if Q is the midpoint of PR? Okay. All right. So this is going to be the last one we're going to do today. All right. Actually, we're actually going to hold off on this one, and we're going to do it in our next lesson because it looks like, yeah, we got a few more slides here to go. We're going to hold off on this algebra midpoint, and we'll figure it out next time. All right. Great job today, guys. Good work. Keep it up, and I will see you guys hopefully pretty soon.